Hi peaches, it's Shaaba. Welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on another video. It's Monday and you know what that means. It's time to go fishing for a-holes. Why? Because it's a little bit of fun, it's a little bit of juicy drama. We can hopefully help a couple people out whilst expanding our own mindsets along the way. What is not to love? I have two big thank yous to give out at the beginning of this video. Number one is to you, my wonderful peaches. Thank you so much for supporting my music journey so far. I've seen a couple of comments like, Shaaba, it's been a month. Where's the new song release? It is here. Don't you worry. My new song, My Girlfriend, is all yours. You can take a look on all of the music platforms. And a second huge thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. Tell me, am I the drama for wanting to surf the web with my best pal? Absolutely not. No drama here at all. If you could bear with me for like 30 seconds before we get into the video, if you don't already have a VPN, you might really want to consider it. Our world is already not very safe, especially the internet world, which is why Surfshark is a great tool to help you. Surfshark VPN keeps your online identity safe by encrypting the information sent between your device and the internet. It swaps the real location of your device with a new one around the world, and 1. masks your IP address to keep you safe online. 2. means you can unblock content libraries and streaming services from other countries. And 3. means that you can still watch your favorite shows no matter where you are. Your city, your country, and your download history are not linked to your identity with this baby. So that Google search I saw you do yesterday night, that's right, I saw you. I told you, you gotta use Surfshark. Surfshark also has a clean web feature which blocks ads, trackers, malware, and phishing attempts. So the only phishing you are ever subjected to is for the a-holes with me here every Monday, bye. So be best buddies with Surfshark, you really won't regret it. And on the off chance that you do, which really won't happen, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Give it a go, see how you feel. You can use a link downstairs in the description box, surfshark.deals/Shaaba, and you can use my code Shaaba to get an extra three months for free. Free! It's a no-brainer. Now, let's see if any of these are no-brainers too. Would I be the drama? I love a good would I be the drama. Oh, I love that overthinking. Give me that ADHD obsession. I see you. I can relate. Or would I be the drama for not paying for my daughter-in-law's travel because she insists on her independence and won't take our family name? Oh, I already have a bias. I think I already have a conviction in my mind, but I'm going to try and keep an open mind and let's hear the context of the situation. I advise you to do the same. Let's go. I'm a 6-year-old father of 3, 2 sons aged 32 and 28, and a daughter aged 22. This issue involves my middle son, 28, and my daughter-in-law, B, who's 27. B is such a cute name. During their wedding planning 6 months ago, B made it clear that she values her independence and feminism, opting not to take our family's last name to maintain her identity. I respect her decision. You know that, right? You see it like I do. Despite our family tradition favoring surname sharing. Would you say it's a family tradition? I'm just trying to think. All right, for full disclosure, I feel like I should probably explain what my position is because of course we all see things through our own lenses, our own pathways, and this is mine. I got married to Jamie. Love Jamie. Did I really love the idea of being called Shaaba Rains? No. For multiple reasons. Number one, it just doesn't sound great phonetically, right? Like, it's not just me. But number two, and most importantly, I didn't like the idea of feeling like my identity was being taken over by his identity. So I really like the idea of double barreling. Jamie really liked the idea of double barreling. And I had the added bonus of, with double barreling, my initials being SLR, which is a camera, and because I'm a doctor with my PhD, it's a DSLR, so it's like I've upgraded, and I'm like, clearly, you see where you're watching this from, right? I love cameras. So what I'm trying to say is all the boxes were ticked for me to share the surname. Jamie had no problem with this. He was very happy to do this too. I would go as far to say, I kind of want to check it with him, but I'm pretty sure that in the conversations, if I'm recalling correctly, he liked the idea of double barreling too, because it meant that he was also joining my family, you know, like it just kind of made sense. And although we are the only people in both of our families, from what I can think of, to double barrel, I don't think there was ever a discussion or even a thought of that being a tradition. I feel like for something to be a tradition, it needs to be not just something that happens, because otherwise we could say that breathing is a tradition, right? But something that happens and is garnered and celebrated for the reason of it happening. And I really doubt that in this situation, this family go, yes, we are making a very big deal out of the fact that the people that marry into this family are the ones that take the surnames. Do you know what I mean? Like, they have a daughter there, age 22. When your 22-year-old daughter gets married, are you going to make a big deal, like a big celebratory moment out of the fact that she will no longer be whatever your surname is. I highly doubt it. Just because something is like a customary norm doesn't make it a tradition in my mind. Also feeling the need to add that I'm not judging anyone who does just take on the surname in the traditional, sort of ordinary, customary way. Like, you have to do what works for you, right? Isn't that the whole point? Just you do you. Anyway, let's read on. I genuinely appreciate B, says OP. She's a wonderful partner for my son, albeit sometimes her strong opinions and idealistic views seem to overlook her privilege. Okay. I just need to point out that my hesitancies are coming from the fact that even from the title alone, I kind of got the vibe that this was like a older person of privilege, like a cis white het man. And OP says, I'm a 60-year-old father of 3. I'm not making an assumption on race. What I'm saying is, like, I can hear it. I can hear it from the tone of what's being said that this is coming from like a very old-fashioned mindset. And this idea of like feminism being a strong opinion and an idealistic view, it's very interesting. Though it is true, you can have privilege and sometimes, I was going to say fight too hard. I don't think there's such a thing as fighting too hard, but sometimes people can certainly overstep and not take into account their privilege when they do these kinds of things. Again, I'm not sure if that's what's happening here, but let's read on. Our family vacations have been on pause due to COVID and significant life events. With finances not being an issue for us, my wife and I have traditionally covered these trips. There have been expectations of these trips, such as prioritizing family time and activities over personally preferred activities. This year, we're planning a bit of a more luxurious trip to the Maldives. However, B has been assertively expressing her desire to break from tradition, evident during their wedding. So when you say that B's assertively expressing her desire to break from tradition, is it specifically in relation to this trip? Or are you just really hung up on the fact that B didn't want to just only take on your surname? I'm so confused. She opted out of typical customs like flower girls, a mother-son dance, and being walked down the aisle by her father. Okay, so it's all wedding stuff that OP's talking about. B sort of breaking from tradition. Nothing to do with this holiday. But okay, although I funded the wedding, says OP, I kept my feelings to myself after my son requested to not add to their stress. I feel like I'm interjecting a lot, but there's just a lot of points here that are kind of frustrating me. One of the things I think is a really big red flag is when someone's like, yeah, I'm going to fund your wedding. Let me fund your wedding. And then it's like, but then it ends up being my wedding. Like, I'm not saying that person then gets married, but they're like, you therefore have to make choices that I approve of. That's not how it works. If you give a gift, specifically a gift like this, these kind of acts, these gifts shouldn't be given with strings attached. You should be giving it because you want them to be able to have the wedding that they want to do, but fully respecting that it's their wedding, and even though you are choosing to fund it, which is your choice, right? That doesn't mean that you automatically have a say on what they personally prefer to do. That's just weird. It's overbearing. It's not right. If my friend was moving house and I was like, here's a hardware store voucher, congratulations, my love, from me to you, does that then entitle me to go around when they're like looking at paints and being like, you want to paint a wall sage green? I don't like that. My money's gone towards that voucher. No, you wouldn't dream of doing that. So why should it be different if it's applied to a different scenario? OP says about the wedding stuff that I didn't appreciate the communication style that was used. What, honesty? I don't know. And told my son, who said that he would relay this feedback to B. I felt that she was rather rude to my wife, who was sad that she wouldn't be partaking in a mother-son dance, i.e. not understanding why she would be sad that there wouldn't be a dance. I feel like there's been a gap in the reporting of this. I need to see, like, you're saying that B was rude, but I'm not seeing the words used. She's saying, I don't understand why she would be sad. OP's given an example of the thing, not the words, but the thing does suggest perhaps rudeness, saying, like, oh, you don't understand why she would be sad. Maybe B did say that, like, oh, why being sad? Don't be sad, which would be very wrong of B. But maybe B was saying, well, if this was me, I wouldn't mind not doing one. That's why I don't want one being done, or whatever, That's very different. It can be interpreted very differently. And sometimes what somebody says can be very different to what somebody hears. And what we're getting here is just through the lens, just the one side of the coin, one side of the story, which is this side, not this side. So I'm dubious, especially with everything else that we've seen. For the upcoming trip, I've considered stating that I'll only cover expenses for those bearing our last name. Interesting. After B's continuous emphasis on independence and breaking from tradition, again, from what we can see is only through the wedding, right? Like nothing else. B's not gone, oh, and in terms of family, I'm not going to see you because of, it's traditional that we see both sides equally. I'm not doing that. It's not that. It's just in terms of the wedding, she did, well, presumably her and her husband wanted to do. But OP saying after B's continuous emphasis, I feel this was a reasonable stance. I was discussing this with my son, who asked if I could cover their expenses this time. I thought about it and decided not to. I declined. So this isn't a would I be the drama. You've already done it. You've already done it. My rationale is that B's firm stance on independence should extend to navigating the repercussions of their decisions, financial ones included. Okay, so answer me this, OP. When your daughter, who's currently age 22, is in a relationship and marries on, and presumably following your family tradition, takes on the husband's name, assuming she is in a straight relationship, and then say they go on to have children, and your grandkids there also don't share your surname, would you pay for everybody else in the family except for B and B's partner, and except for your daughter and her entire chunk of the family? I don't think that's going to happen. And if you're going to say, oh, but it's because she took on the name of someone else, then it's not about your family tradition of keeping it within your name. You're just trying to punish B because you don't like the fact that she has some modern and progressive views that you clearly don't agree with. That is what I'm seeing here. Also, assuming that B didn't take on the family name, has your son, so B's husband, matched B's name? Are they double barreling? Or has he taken on B's name, in which case are you also not going to pay for him? Or is it just B that you're not paying for? It just, on so many ways, this is being used as a ridiculous excuse. This is exactly what happens when you try and create rules because you think you're high and mighty to try and hide what's really happening underneath, which is genuinely some form of discrimination. That is what's happening right now. It's bigotry, it's a misalignment of views, and it's treating someone differently because they have a different viewpoint to you. And I just don't think that that's very fair. I'll read on, but you're the drama, babe. I already see it. Just saying. My son is disappointed, and my wife believes that I'm being overly rigid, arguing that family support transcends proving a point. It's not even a point. Your point is so jaggedy. It's poked so many holes in logic. That's your point. I'm torn, says OP, between respecting B's independence and wanting to assist them. So am I the drama if I decide not to pay for my daughter-in-law's portion of the family trip due to her insistence on independence and refusal to adopt a family surname? Yes. You're a big drama. And you know what really pisses me off? It's made me feel very spicy. It's not the fact that you're considering doing this, because you know what? It's your money. It truly, if you don't want to pay for your daughter-in-law because you don't like the fact that she didn't have a different name, fine. It's your money. You don't pay for her. It's the fact that you are trying to shroud it. You're trying to put a blanket of logic over it that makes no sense because you are too afraid to have a confrontation where you're honest about how you truly feel. That's what was really tickled my pickle in a bad way with this one. Oh, do you agree? Let's see what the people have to say. Wow, you really are the drama. The way you're presenting this, you've made it clear that you are withholding vacation funds to punish your daughter-in-law for making a different decision. Your reasons are small and pathetic. I mean, what's the law? So what if she didn't take your surname? Is your ego really that fragile? And let's be honest, this is about your ego. It's understandable that your wife was disappointed that there wasn't a mother-son dance, but this is something you get disappointed about for about an hour or two and then you get over it. I agree so much with the first point. I disagree with that last point, and this is why. I just don't think it belongs on this post at all. It's a totally separate issue. If the mother-in-law, OP's wife, has an issue with that, we need to hear more context specifically about that. But that's not what this is about. This is about a family holiday and you not liking the fact and being pissed off that you can't control someone because they have different views to you and they've resisted and you don't like it. But you know what? If that's the case, babe, when you gave the wedding funds, you should have said that there were strings attached, and then you should have let the couple make an informed decision as to whether they wanted to obey with those strings and be little puppets for you or not. And if you didn't do that, you have no right to continue trying to puppet family holidays. It's just, there's a resentment that you are not addressing, and it's pissing me off, quite frankly. I'm sorry. I'm saying it how it is. Someone else asked the same question. If your daughter gets married and takes a husband name, will she then not get invited because she has a different name? Or if she doesn't take the man's name, will she not get invited because she isn't enough of a subservient woman? Or will it be different because it's his daughter? Either way, there are so many contradictions because your little point is very jaggedy, it's very wrong, it's not compatible with logic, babe. It's just not. Be honest with yourself, be honest with your daughter, and, you know, either jump on the train, which is leaving because your son likes this person and they're together and we're in 2024. That train has left the station. You're either going to be on it or you're going to be left behind. But you can't pretend that you're on it and then not be on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you be honest and piss people off, and that's fine because you're entitled to your viewpoint and you're entitled to spend your money how you want to spend it, or just get over it. Get over it and enjoy a family holiday because it's her life. Why do you care what surname she has? We need to move on. We need to move on because I could talk about this angrily for days. Okay, one more. I'm confused how this trip and the wedding / name part of it relates to it all. I was expecting that she wanted her own room, her own activities, that this was paid for, etc., etc. Exactly. I don't think this has anything to do with that. It's a lack of control. You're punishing this uppity woman for daring to have beliefs that aren't the same as yours. And now we move on. I'm so glad to see unanimity in the forum. Okay. Am I the drama for getting mad at my stepsister for letting our house get robbed? That is a title. Whoa. My family's lives got thrown into chaos 3 months ago when my mum got arrested for some financially related crimes. Okay, she's probably going away for the next 3 to 8 years. Ooh. We're losing our house, and her and my stepfather are getting divorced. There's no good timing for any of this, but it's especially bad now because I am in college, says OP, on the other side of the country. My stepfather isn't even in the country right now. He's deployed, and my only sibling, my stepsister Stacey, has only just turned 17. Wow, this is a lot. This is so much. I'm so sorry, OP, that you're going through this. By the time that my mum realised she couldn't even make bond, I only had 3 weeks until winter break, so we agreed that it would be okay for me to keep my original flight back whilst things were still being sorted out. Okay, so what I'm hearing is there's a winter break where you were planning to come back anyway to, I assume, see Stacey and be in the house that is now unfortunately robbed. Oh, Jesus. But especially because there's financial difficulties, not moving that feels like it's a good idea. I hear you. Okay. We decided, says OP, that I'm going to take a semester off school to help out until everything is settled. Obviously, it wasn't ideal to have Stacey hold down the fort for that long, but it's not illegal. So until your original flight back, Stacey's going to look after the house. Then the idea is that you are not going to go back to college for a semester so that you can help out the house. That's such an unfair pressure to put on you as well. OP hasn't mentioned anything here about onus, but the fact that the mum's been arrested and is going away for 3 to 8 years, I have a feeling that this is mum's fault, and I'm feeling an anger towards mum for putting the rest of the family in that position. That sucks. I will also say though, like a 17-year-old having to look after a house for 3 weeks. Let's read on. I think it really depends on the context, right? Like, has the 17-year-old done something like this before? Is the 17-year-old really independent? Is the 17-year-old dealing with this okay? So many questions. OP says the bills were paid and everything, so all that she had to do, the sister, was breathe and not burn the house down. She didn't do that. She decided that all this meant that she could do whatever she wanted and moved in with her boyfriend without telling anyone. Right. Let's read on. Let's read on. I have thoughts. The house went unattended, and of course, we got robbed. I mean, of course? Is it of course? I don't know. They cleaned the place out. Anything of value that was left after the raid is gone, including basically all of my stuff. You know when people say this is a cherry on top of a cake? What is the opposite of that? This is the fly on top of the dump. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is bad. I see that this is bad. I'm also sensing anger towards the sister, and I'm not quite understanding that. But let's read on. That is what I came home to. Oh, see that she came home, saw that your sister Stacey wasn't there, and that the place was ransacked. I immediately called Stacey, but she'd blocked my number. I only know where she went through social media, and she wouldn't respond to messages there. So I had to start posting about all of this on Facebook to get her to respond, and now I'm getting for blaming her and putting too much on a child. Am I expecting too much? Says OP. On top of having to drop out of school temporarily and everything else that I'm responsible for, including potentially ending up her guardian, I now have to replace anything that I didn't take to college with me and immediately scramble for housing. My only expectation of her was to not just effing vanish for 3 weeks. That was her only responsibility, and she just bailed. Okay, I feel like I've been biting my tongue, but we need to unpack. This whole thing is the mum's fault, right? I think we can all agree with that. This whole show is happening because the mum did a naughty. My second question is, where the frick is the stepdad? When you say deployed, does this mean like army, or does this just mean working in a different country? And if it was in the military, I don't know enough, but I have a feeling from conversations I've had with people that I know to be in the military, at least this is how it works in the UK, if something big happens, you're able to come back home. And this certainly feels like something big. Even if the stepdad wasn't able to leave employment wherever it was that he was, you left a 17-year-old in charge of a house during all of this and are now blaming her for your house being robbed. The only way that I can see this being her fault is if she has left, and in part of her leaving, she is involved in the robbery that took place, either by telling people, hey, there's an empty house right there and no one's looking after it, you know, or if she was actually involved in it herself. I don't know why. I've been watching too many dramatic TV shows, but I really just don't see how this is her fault. If anything, I'm actually really glad that your 17-year-old sister wasn't in a house alone, unattended with anyone else when a robbery took place, because who knows what could have happened to your sister. Did people steal from you, or were you robbed? Because from my understanding, there is a difference. Robbery involves some sort of aggravation, some sort of weapon is being used or intended to be used. It means that there is a break-in. Force has been used. So if you genuinely have been robbed, windows have been smashed, doors have been opened, things have been knocked down, whoever was there was carrying some form of weapon, why are you angry at your sister for not being there when the whole reason this is happening is because your mum has meant that your entire house is gone after the raid. I totally appreciate that OP is in a difficult position right here. I totally appreciate how horrible it is knowing that your entire university experience, your career, your future is being offset and off-balanced. You might never be going back to uni in this situation. There's no security in that. You may have to be a guardian. That's an unbelievable amount of pressure. And you're dealing with the fact that your mum, the role model that you were supposed to have, has done something so drastic that you're now not going to have her for 3 to 8 years, plus the stigma that comes from all of this and the family talks and la-di-da-di-da. I hear you, and you have every right to feel so down and so conflicted, but I feel like that self-reflection is not being passed on to your sister. She's a 17-year-old dealing with all of this too, having a new guardian, having a mum that's gone to prison, or a stepmother, however the family structure works, but having, you know, a parent figure going to prison, dealing with all of that stigma. And sure, she may not be in college at this point, she's 17, but in many ways that is just as difficult, because she's got school, and in school everything feels like it's even a bigger end of the world when things go wrong, you know? And what you did is expect her, a minor, I know you're saying 17 and it's not illegal, she's still not like a fully functioning adult, you know? She's still not the kind of person that will make sure that toilet paper is in the house at all times. You're expecting her to be in a house that has just been raided as well, so will look incredibly different and remind her of these problems all the time. Like, you're off at university, you don't need to see this stuff. She is being immersed in it day in and day out, and I think it's a really normal response to be like, I cannot deal with this. I would feel a lot safer and more supported being with the person who is my primary source of support, a boyfriend. Like, it makes so much logical sense to me why she would do that. I don't understand why you're having a go at her. I am confused as to why she blocked you, but I'm equally as confused as to why you then felt it was a really good idea to air your dirty laundry all over social media, because that just doesn't, it's never a good idea, babe. It's never a good idea. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. There's a little bit more, so let's read that. I'm sorry. OP says, her being a minor makes her actions worse in my opinion, because it's not even legal for her to decide that she just wants to live on her own now. She was legally required to stay there because our parents told her to. And I don't think I'm required to pretend that she was just an angel to talk about it. With respect, I don't think you're being an angel to talk about it too, but I just kind of feel like in the same breath, it's not fair. It's not morally right for you to say she was legally required to stay there, she's a minor and that makes it worse because she should be there. And then also in the same breath, expect said minor to literally look after a house by themselves and sustain themselves for 3 weeks. Like, are you saying that she's a minor, therefore she shouldn't be making decisions, in which case don't leave her in control of a house that was robbed? Like, I know Home Alone had a fun plot, but 99% of the time that is not how that would go down. Kevin would be unalived, and I would not want that to have happened to your sister too. I think what's happening is you're talking from a lot of stress. I think that stress is making you feel very blinkered, and you're not realizing that your sister is not the one to blame here. I personally really still think that it was a good thing, a godsend, a miracle that your sister was not home at the time that happened, because who knows what the outcome would have been and what this kind of post would have been written like if she was involved in some sort of confrontation with criminals robbing the house. Yes, I do think you are the drama for getting mad at your stepsister for it. I don't think you're the drama for it happening, and I can see where it's coming from. Your pain is your pain, and it's because all of these terrible things are happening and you have every right to be upset, but you're directing your anger in the wrong place. You should be directing it at your mum and at the person who robbed your house, not your underage sibling who really shouldn't have been left with dealing with all of that for 3 weeks alone in the first place. And it may not be your fault. I can anticipate Peaches being like, oh, Shaaba, you're being so harsh. Look at what OP's going through. I feel you. But things that are not your fault may still be your problem. You're not in the wrong for it happening, but you're definitely in the wrong for getting mad at the wrong person and causing further stress. Just be kind. Kindness is what's going to be able to get you through this stuff. It's very natural that we're all going to slip in moments of extreme stress like this, but what we need to do is realize where we're wrong, apologize, and move on stronger together. It just sounded like a political campaign billboard, but it's true. Not the drama whatsoever, says someone. Stacey's 17, she's basically an adult. You put her trust in her, she betrayed it, she's the one to blame. And someone said that she's then blocked your number because she knows she did the wrong thing. I just feel like that was so not explained in any detail at all. Yeah, there's no information there. This comment has made it seem that Stacey knew that the robbing had taken place and then was like, I'm going to block because I'm not going to deal with this, and then left. Maybe that's not what happened. We don't know what's happened. My assumption was that Stacey blocked after being so annoyed and being left alone at the house, was just like, nope, I just need to disappear. And Stacey's not even aware of the fact that the place was robbed. This is an interesting take, and one that I was really surprised to see. It wasn't like your sister threw a big ass party and her guests cleaned the house, or as if she forgot to lock the door and then some guy took the opportunity. You were robbed, so someone saw that no one was at home and broke in. This could have happened even if she was there. Like, gone gone to school, everyone who observed the house could have chosen any time during the school hours to break in. Or if she left one day to see a movie. Is it bad luck? Yes, it sucks. But be glad that your sister wasn't home and wasn't hurt. And don't blame that on her, but on the burglars. I agree wholeheartedly with this comment. You are the drama for expecting a child to stay in the house by herself whilst her world was on fire. Be upset with the correct person, your mother. This is your mother's fault. Someone else has gone, she's 17, she's not a child. It's so contextual. You're both correct about whether she is or is not a child. But why that second comment there doesn't fly with me, this response doesn't fly with me and just makes me mad, is because OP was trying to say that because of a minor, she should therefore have had that extra responsibility, which I just think is such flawed logic. You can't have a cake and eat it. She can't be a minor in one sense to make you feel like you can control her and, you know, dictate her every move, but then not a minor where you're like, oh, but she has responsibility to make decisions. No. She either has responsibility or she doesn't. Make your mind up. You are the drama. If the area is that bad that the house gets robbed the moment no one's home, you shouldn't have had a 17-year-old girl defending it. Also true. Ring cams is like such a thing. What happened? But also, I just want to say, like, I don't think the area has to be bad for this to happen. Robberies happen all the time. Bad people are all over the place. If anything, really good areas are the ones that are robbed, right? So somewhere can be deemed really safe and a very good neighborhood. And in many ways, that could be seen as an even bigger area to target. So it's complicated. You are the drama. What do you think Stacey, the 17-year-old, was going to do? Go all Bruce Lee and fight the robbers off? Whether she was there or not, we can all sometimes forget to lock a door or window. And even if everything is locked, robbers can still break in. A 17-year-old kid isn't a deterrent. To be grateful. I'm just grateful she wasn't there, truly. Whew, what do you think, Peaches? I'm not going to lie, that first comment that I saw on the forum really threw me off. All right, let's do another. Am I the drama for not letting my husband go to school when I'm about to give birth to our first daughter? Ooh, okay. I'm a 26-year-old woman and my husband, 30-year-old man, are having an induction scheduled for Monday, February 12th at 8 p.m. to have our first daughter. That must be so surreal. Every time that I've seen people have babies, it's been natural. And so the idea of being like, here in the calendar, as you can see, this is all the time we're going to have before baby, and after this, different life with baby. It's just so interesting. My husband, who's a veterinarian, like someone who went in the army, let's see, and going to school full-time, uses his GI Bill that allows him to go to school as a full-time job. GI Bill, veteran, yes, okay, I see you. He also has 100% disability. Whoever knows about the VA disability knows. And since I'm not working this month as well, all we have is his income. I do have my business on the side that makes some money, so we're stable for the month of February. However, spring semester starts tomorrow at our nearby community college. He can go to his first classes, of course, since I'm scheduled for later evening Monday, but the following day he also has a set of new classes that he needs to be present for, or else he'll get dropped. Oh, okay, so in my mind I was like, oh, what husband wouldn't want to go to their induction? But I'm hearing that maybe the husband feels a need to go in order to maintain his position, like on a scholarship, right? You have terms. Let's read on. We've been arguing back and forth that he cannot miss Tuesday since he needs to go to school, which I totally understand. But what's most important is myself and my daughter, who may be in overnight inductions, and he feels a need to be gone and prefers that my mother's present whilst he is gone. Oh, isn't there like extenuating circumstances? I get it. I totally get it from a scholarship point of view that you'd be like, oh, I need to do this. But like, surely having your child be brought out into the world is a good extenuating circumstance. Just saying. I told him he can simply message his professors and explain to them about me being in labour and possibly excused, but he says that he cannot miss it and he has to be gone the next day. My worry is, this is your first baby, right? I'm assuming first daughter means first baby. You have no idea how long this induction is going to take. You have no idea how difficult or complicated that labour is going to be. I totally understand not wanting to miss it. I don't think that's what the wife OP is asking for. I think what she's saying is, just have a chat with your professor. Let me know. You know, there is no harm in having that conversation. We've had heated arguments and he keeps bringing it up, the idea that he won't be there and he needs to suck it up since he needs to make money and my mum will have to replace him during our daughter's birth. Am I the drama for telling him not to go to school and having to force him to be present throughout the whole process of labour, or am I overreacting? Mind you, this is both our first baby, for his first baby, and I'm being induced because I'm at high risk pregnancy, and if my body can't dilate, we have to go to an emergency C-section. Babe, you're not the drama for wanting him to be there. Absolutely, he should be there. Emergency C-section, high risk pregnancy, first time, dude. Be there for your wife and child. But I just feel like there's a piece missing. Has your husband had that conversation with his teachers to be like, hey, is this an extenuating circumstance? Considering the serious gravity of the situation, high risk pregnancy, can I, for a day, miss and catch up? I'm 99.9% certain they'll say yes. And if they say no, then you have this conversation and then you're like, oh my God, and it's a big decision. And in which case, honestly, I would understand if that support came elsewhere, and during this time it would mean losing an entire scholarship for all of your study, I would understand why in that situation that wouldn't be happening. But you need to make fully informed decisions with everything. That is my number one tip all the time. Fully informed decision making. And you're not making a fully informed decision because you don't know what the teacher's going to say. So you absolutely should be strongly encouraging your husband to ask those questions to be able to make the decision. Don't think the drama, but if you are being induced Monday night, you likely won't give birth until late Tuesday or even Wednesday. Ooh. Depending on the method of induction, it can take a long time. There's not much for him to do to support you until you are in active labor. I have no idea about this. In my mind, I was like, oh, induction means that you will be having the baby like the next day, but if there's a potential that it could be Wednesday, like again, fully informed decision making, dudes. This commenter says, you said if he misses the classes, he'll be dropped, so he should go to the classes. He can always leave if need be. Yeah, but like, just make sure, like have a little pager, right? When you're going into labor, make sure that you can tell him in adequate time to come. People seem so silly sometimes, but like, ask the question. I'm sure the professor will be okay. Someone else said this: I was induced on a Monday afternoon and I didn't give birth until early Tuesday morning. So the Tuesday classes, babe, sounds like you're gonna have to go to your wife's birth, which I'm sure you want to. Just toss the damn teacher. You are the drama. So someone, he's being in school is what's keeping food on the table and a roof on your head. So yes, if attendance is mandatory, then hell yes, he needs to go. I agree with this, but you don't know if it's mandatory. Ask. Oh gosh, I feel like we're on those horror movies, you know, where you can see the person going up the stairs and you're like, why are you doing that? Go out the front door. I can't agree when he's not even talking to his professors first. Mandatory normally excludes medical situations. Professors made exceptions for less, especially since he can give documentation like showing them a copy of the birth certificate or showing them the planned induction date. It's like, oh, this is so painful. Oh my lordy. So useful. And the university professors responded and said, not the drama. Every professor I know would excuse this absence for an upcoming induction, and not just for delivery, but for the entire induction. Just ask. Just ask. Best of luck, my love. I hope your parenting goes well and your beautiful little squish comes into the world all happy and healthy and all right, last one. Am I the drama for telling my mother that I'm not interested in getting married? Ooh, my mum's mid-50s and very conservative. I feel like this one's gonna be so simple. She's of the opinion that the only way to go through life is in a relationship and you're an incomplete person without one. I mean, tell that to all the really happy single people, arrows, aces, just anybody who isn't in a relationship, anyone who is widowed, anyone who... So difficult arguing with idiots. It's been a contention in our relationship for years. We're very low contact for a lot of reasons, but she managed to corner me at a party last night and this happened. My mother's incredibly concerned over the fact that I'm not interested in dating or marriage. She's been asking when I'm going to get married for the best part of 20 years. Wow. And the answer each time has been, well, I'm not interested, or I don't want to, or something along those lines. Each time she gets agitated, she doesn't talk to me for a few weeks. I can understand why you're low contact. Sounds like someone's manipulating you a little bit and using contact as a punishment if you don't do what she wants to do, even though it's your life. Let's see. My dad's gently told her that in his opinion, I'm an incredibly late bloomer and she needs to back off, which worked until last night. I mean, if your dad genuinely believes that and is like still expecting it, but it's just deterring the bombardment of when am I going to have a grandchild? When am I going to have a grandchild? Then that's equally as tricky and annoying. It's nice that your dad's been delaying at least. My mom cornered me at my niece's birthday and bluntly told me that I needed to get married in the next year or no man will want me and I would die alone. For context, I'm 28 and she was married and had me by 23. Oi, to which I replied, that's fine because I don't want to get married anyway. I've been telling you this for years. Stop effing asking, because the answer is no. It's been no, and it will be no, barring unforeseen circumstances. You've set your boundary, babe. I respect. Which leads to her tearing into me about how I've wasted her life and dashed her dreams by not getting married. Imagine your life being valued on someone else being involved in it. That's what this mother is trying to teach you. Note that my younger sister is married and currently has 2 kids. She then decided that she wasn't going to speak to me for the rest of the night. Good. I woke up to a slew of very hurtful texts this morning, not so good, about how I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do and why this is a sin against God. Can totally see why you're low contact. My dad texted me too, asking me to apologize to my mum and placate her a little bit, and I told him that I didn't want to, and he's now stopped texting. So, am I the drama? No, you're not the drama. And you know what? Even though your dad is trying to be supportive, he's really adding to the drama by enabling this behavior. The one thing that is more annoying than people not staying in their lane, as this mother should be doing, is other people telling you that you need to swallow your own pride, swallow reality, swallow being honest, swallow your moral compass, and set all of that aside to hush hush. They're there, someone who is very clearly in the wrong, that they also don't agree with, for a quote-unquote easy life. Do you know what that makes it easier for? Maybe you, Dad, but not for the person that you are inquiring this of. What you're telling them is that they shouldn't stand up for themselves. And what you're telling them is they should be a little carpet that's happily walked over to make other people happy, even if the entire thing is a facade and a lie. You are not the drama. It's as simple as that. Anyone else that says no, let me see you're not the drama, and I go no contact with both of them. You don't have to fulfill your mother's dreams, and you don't have to apologize. Not the drama. Not the drama. It's your life, not hers, and you made it clear that that is the end of the conversation. I think that's it, right? Like, it doesn't mean that you can be excused. If you have different opinions, you can't be mean. You can't be horrible. You need to respect the fact that other people have different opinions, and then just live and let live. You seem to have very kindly and very respectfully shared your boundaries and your communications over a really long period of time. And if someone is not accepting that, where else do you go? There's only so many times that you can take the same routes in the hedge maze and see this big block in front of you and be like, ugh, what do I do now? Before you just want to grab the shears and cut your way out of it. Do you know what I mean? That was a really terrible metaphor, but it made sense in my head. All right, that last one was okay. The first ones I feel like were particularly spicy. Was I spicy? Am I the drama? Or was it that the situations are spicy? Let me know downstairs. Remember, my Juicy Peaches at Surfshark is here for you. You can take a look downstairs in the description box for the details, and I'd love to hear what you think about these situations. Join me downstairs in the comments. Let's have a little chin wag. If you enjoyed this video, my loves, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Super helps me out. And I'll see you next time with another video. Be kind and have a great day. Bye.